Hello everyone. So today we will be starting a new piece of software. We'll be using SketchUp. It's our first time doing any 3D modeling in this class. So I'm going to go over a lot of the basics, spend a decent amount of time just showing you where the buttons are, what to click, and what they do. So this probably be a two-part video, even though this drawing is very simple, obviously, since it's the first one we're doing. But let's begin. You should start off by just like Googling SketchUp free or following the link on the classroom page, and then making an account, right? So up top here, of course, it's like covering my name, but log in, make an account, use your school credential, school email, and click Start Modeling. This will come up. Obviously, it's loading. They got a new logo. It's ugly. But up top here, create new. Simple template, feet and inches is fine. And then you will be brought into the sketching area, drawing area of what you're doing. This little lady here on the cell phone is mainly there for scale. So like, when you're drawing something, hey, this is a normal person standing next to what you're drawing. And this is what it looks like size-wise. All right, to move around, you should be using a mouse. Please use a mouse. If you don't have one, I can get you one. But if you click in on your mouse wheel, you'll get what's called orbit. And it's moving around. You'll notice these are the axes, Z, X, Y, right? Orbit around. She's always looking at you, no matter which way you go. You can delete her if you want. If you hold Shift and click on the mouse wheel, you start panning around. All right. Same kind of highlight deal with AutoCAD. Down, top left, down, bottom right. It's what's entirely inside the box it'll highlight. Bottom right, top left gets dotted. It's everything it's touching. All right, and then spacebar brings you back to your normal pointer. You'll notice that there's a bunch of options over on the side here, a bunch of options on this side here, on the right side. When you start clicking on one of these, it'll bring up this menu type thing. I'm going to click on this top one, Entity Info, so it's there. I'm going to click on this Tags button, so it's there. Tags is what SketchUp calls layers. And then underneath that, Scenes, which is more like snapping views. All right, Scenes is going to be important because when you're drawing in 3D, you want to make sure you're drawing in the correct orientation so that it's actually where you want things to be. All right. And then the last thing before I actually get into it and clicking on things and drawing stuff is that SketchUp is known to crash every so often. They have done a lot of updates. It hasn't crashed as often as it used to, but the web version is even the version we use at school right now. And you need to save often. You need to save. Just need to save. So up top here, it says Untitled. Click once. You can actually rename this. I hope. Save to. SketchUp is fine. Enter name down here. I'm going to call it The Shack. I have caps lock on. The Shack. I can spell once in a while. Just keeping in normal project SketchUp folder is fine. Save here. So now it's The Shack, and then you're going to click this button up top here to save. All right, make sure you're saving often. Again, I'm holding Shift mouse wheel to pan around. Scroll wheel zooms in and out as well. All right, so we are going to draw a simple shack. So it's a one room type thing. We're not even going to worry about interior right now. We can worry about interior on the next assignment. We're just going to do simple shapes, exterior. We're going to model it. Going to make it look cool, however you want to make it look. But this is like the type of software that you might, if your mother or you guys watch like HGTV and they do all those cool architecture and like zoom in, hey, your kitchen can look like this. This is the software they're using. All right. So let us actually begin with drawing something. You see on the sheet here, some of the measurements type things that you need to get used to, like right here, right? That means feet, while like that means inches, right? So quotation marks and apostrophe. Quotation marks is inches, apostrophe is feet. So our entire shack, we're going to draw just a 2D flat surface on the bottom, and then we're going to pull it up. In SketchUp, it's called press pull. In like Onshape 3D modeling, it's called extrude. All the same kind of idea. Take a 2D drawing. In this case, it's going to be a rectangle, and then pull it up to be 3D. So this one is 10.5 feet, or 10 feet 6 inches. I'll show you how to enter both ways, by 12 feet. All right, so Over here, you'll notice on the left side, your regular pointer, eraser, paint bucket, pencil for lines, arcs, rectangles. This is your press pull. This is outer, yeah, a bunch of other stuff. You'll notice that there's little arrows next to it. So if you can't find things right away, sometimes they're in the little hidden thing next to it. But I'm going to click on the rectangle first. And you'll notice when I'm drawing, you'll see it's blue right there. That means that I will be drawing in that plane, the blue plane, which is the z-axis plane. So that's correct for this case. But oftentimes it doesn't like do it right. And you should get into the habit now to change your scene to be in the view of the plane that you're drawing in. So for this case, I'm going to draw the flat bottom of this shack. That means I want to be looking straight down on it. So I'd be this center one here, the top view plane. I'm looking straight down on it. There's the top of that lady's head. She's just a 2D object. But I want to be looking straight down to draw the base of the shack. So I'm actually going to hold Shift, center mouse wheel, pan over a little bit so I have some more space here. So I'm not actually on top of my axes. You can do that. Draw on the axes. I don't want to. I want to draw out in the middle here. So I'm going to click and drag up. You'll notice in the bottom right corner, down underneath my face here, you'll have your measurements area. So you'll see that it's in feet, inches. There's a comma in between. So the first number you put in is your X value, while the second value you put in is a Y. So in this direction, or in this orientation here on the screen, first number I put in is going to be the red, then green. So I can type in 10.5 and then put in the feet sign, or I can put in 10 feet 6 inches, like that. I like decimals, engineering background. Put in feet, that's still inches, feet sign, and then a comma separating them by 12 feet. I believe if you don't put in the symbol, I forget what it is, it's going to default to, it's either going to be inches or feet. But just get used to putting it in, make it correct, and then you can just hit enter. And you'll notice, right, Shift mouse wheel, it made a rectangle and it's got a color on the inside, shaded. When it's shaded, that means it's a close shape. That means we can mess with it. All right, so when I now have a rectangle, I'm going to click down here at the isometric view. And you'll notice here, I'm flat on that plane. I'm not at an angle. It's not like floating anywhere. It's not crooked. The reason being is I clicked on this. I made sure it was flat. This shows it made a blue rectangle. You'll notice, look, I can make it red. This would be on that plane there, and so on and so forth. Next thing, we want to make this 3D. I want to pull this up. So if I'm looking at my sheet again, how far up does this go? I only want to go up this area here of 10 feet, right? We did the 10.5 by 12, and I'm going to pull it up 10 feet. All right, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to orbit around a little bit. I'm still in the rectangle. I don't want to be. I'm going to click on press pull, or push pull, sorry. And now you'll notice the symbol, it's clicked on now. If I mouse over my rectangle I drew before, it starts making these like dots on it. All right, if I click on it, and now look, I can start pressing and pulling and making it three-dimensional in the direction of the face that I clicked on. So I can only go up, down. If I click right now, then I can start clicking on sides and so on and so forth. But I just click, I start dragging up, and I'm just going to type in 10. Just for my own knowledge, I want to see if I don't type in a symbol. Yeah, look, see, it made it 10 inches. It didn't make it 10 feet. So if you don't type in your units, it defaults to inches. So I'm going to hit Control-Z. To undo, click, drag up, 10 feet, enter. All right, so I now have a rectangle for my shack, and it's up in the air, pulled it up, 3D modeling here. We have a rectangle that is 10.5 by 12 by 10. Now we can put in dimensions as well. Over here, you can start putting in solid dimensions, or you can just start measuring things to check. I'm not worried about that right now. This is day one. I just want to draw some stuff. You also notice I'm not even worrying about layers right now. That's what tags are. I want to make sure you guys know where it is. That's why it's open, but we're not going to do it right now. Not going to do it right now. We're just drawing shapes. All right. So I'm already at close to 10 minutes, and you guys barely watch these as it is. So I'm going to move right along and just get my roof on. All right. So the next thing here is a triangular roof going back and the chimney. I'm going to just start with the triangular roof, pull it back, and then stop the video there. All right, just stop with simple stuff here. All right, so this roof goes up 5 feet, and you'll notice it's at the midpoint. When I have symbols like that in geometry, right, that means these two lines are equal, midpoint, 5 feet up, triangle back. All right, so this is on here. I want to be looking straight on now to be able to draw this straight back. So if I just started drawing a line, for instance, and I just click on the midpoint, look at blue, and I just start going like that, look, right, like that. It's not helpful. It's not useful. So you got to make sure you're clicking on your face. I'm looking straight onto my rectangle, and you'll notice I move my mouse over. It snaps to this blue dot. It says midpoint, perfect. I'm going to drag up. I'm on the blue axis. That means I'm in line with that there. I'm going to type in 5 feet because this goes up 5 feet. And now look, I'm still continuing the line. I'm going to click on my corner here. Make sure you're clicking endpoint, right? You get your snap settings. Click, click. There you go. I have a rectangle. I'm going to hit spacebar. Spacebar brings me back to my regular mouse thing. Otherwise, it's continuing your last command. I'm going to click on that center line that I drew before. That's a word. Before. Delete it. I'm going to orbit around. Look, it's just a 2D plane right now. So what do you think I'm going to do to pull this back? I'm going to hit the press pull button. I can click on either side of this face, and it's going to go in that direction in that plane. Now, how far back does it go? It's 12. You can type in 12. Or if I orbit around to this point, it can make it be a snap. And that's what I want. All right. So right now, we have a rectangle and a triangle. Starting off, things to remember. Hit save often. So I'm saving. It's still under the shack. Make sure you've logged in with your name, right? I have tags, not worrying about it, but the scenes and the views are important to recognize because that's going to be the plane that we're drawing in. Plane being the surface and then pressing, pulling in that direction of the plane that you're drawing on. Important to recognize. And again, the lady's there for scale. Remember, this went up, 10 feet? And look, she's what, like 5 feet tall? All right, so I'm going to stop here. Make a second part. Continue on with this. We just got to draw the chimney, which is a little trickier, and then I'll show you openings for doors and windows, and then show you how to make things look cool with a 3D warehouse where you don't even have to draw the stuff. It's already there. All right. Good luck. Have fun.